Are homeschooling expenses tax deductible? Well, today we're going to talk about how that's kind of a yes, kind of a no, and why no is actually a good thing. I'm Allison Morrow, founder of goodschooling.net. And when we start to homeschool that first year, we quite often get caught up in this idea that we have to spend a ton of money. And of course, once we start spending that money, we start to think, am I going to get anything back for this? Well, here's the thing. Homeschooling expenses are not deductible off federal taxes. Remember that all things homeschooling are regulated at the state level. There is no federal regulation here in the United States for homeschooling. So no on federal taxes. You cannot claim any of your homeschooling expenses. Now, in terms of the state level, at the making of this video, which is late August 2021, there are only 4 states that have some kind of a tax break. That's Illinois, Indiana, Minnesota, and Louisiana. I think they're different in each of those states, but they are the only states that have some kind of a tax break for homeschoolers in their state. Now, you might be asking yourself, how can this possibly be a good thing that I'm spending all this money and I don't get to write any of it off? Well, you need to take a bigger look at the whole homeschooling concept in order for this to really make sense. Here's the thing about homeschooling. The more government regulation there is, the less freedom you have to homeschool. And even when it comes to things like tax credits or tax breaks for homeschooling, that is the government coming in and saying, hey, homeschoolers, we're going to work with you a little bit on this. And sometimes the things that they offer are going to sound really, really good. Like, here is some money that you can spend on homeschooling, or here is some money that you can deduct off your taxes because you're homeschooling. But the more say the government has in homeschooling in general, the more regulation they are eventually going to enact. We see this in every state. States that started out as being very free and open with homeschooling and then started working in even legislation that seemed to give homeschoolers more benefits actually led to more regulation that clamped down on what homeschoolers were allowed to do. This is why you will most often see homeschoolers saying, no, we do not want money from the government. We do not want the government coming in and saying, hey, homeschoolers, we're going to help you this way. No, thank you very much. We can do this just fine on our own. So while we cannot deduct, the things that we pay for curriculum or the money that we pay for materials or classes, the vast majority of us anyway cannot deduct those things. It is true that this is actually working in our favor in the long run. Now, let me also point out that homeschooling does not have to be expensive. I saw something on a website when I was doing some research for this video that said that the average homeschooler needs to spend something like $700 a year. Oh my word, y'all, that is crazy. That is not at all true. You might find that there are some things that you want to outsource, that you want to purchase in terms of classes or materials so that somebody else is doing the teaching. But generally speaking, homeschooling does not have to be expensive at all. If you have a library card and an internet connection, you have an incredible amount of information and resources at your fingertips. You do not have to use curriculum. You do not have to use videos. You do not have to use classes. You can homeschool on a shoestring. Now, it is true that you need to think about the quality of some of those resources that you're going to find for free, but there are programs like Easy Peasy and Khan Academy, and I will put links to those in the description of this video, that can give you a very well-rounded education for free. Now, you have to have an internet connection, so yes, you're paying for internet, but the fact that you're watching this video shows that you already have that, right? As well as a computer or a phone or something to watch on. If you have those things, you can use those programs. You do not have to fill your house with educational stuff. Oh my word, you guys, you do not need a homeschooling room that is decked out with bulletin boards and posters and all sorts of stuff. You can homeschool out of your kitchen, out of your porch. You can homeschool y'all out of your car if you want to, and many people do. They road school. And if they are trucking along in an RV for a year, do you really think that they're going to give up what little storage space they have to things like textbooks? No, absolutely not, right? So when you start thinking about what you are going to do for homeschooling, you need to realize that the amount of money you spend is not necessarily indicative of the quality of your child's education. And it doesn't matter what approach you want to take to homeschooling, whether it's Charlotte Mason or classical or unit studies or whatever, does not mean that you have to spend money on big, fancy curriculum. So if you are looking to homeschool and save a little money, you won't necessarily be able to save that money on your taxes, but you will be able to save it in other places. I actually run a group, and I will link it in the description too, a group that is all about homeschooling for free. Come and join us. You can ask for recommendations for any kind of programs you're looking for, and we would be happy, myself and the other 50,000 members of that group would be very happy to help you find something that might work for you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hit that like and subscribe button so that you are notified the next time we release a video. And I hope that you have realized that even though you can't deduct very much or necessarily anything from your taxes, that doesn't mean that you have to spend a whole bunch of money on your homeschool. I'll talk to you later. Bye.